Hello. Okay, so
Hey.
hi. We're Hannah and Sarah. If you don't know that, you're dumb. So we recently watched Superman, well, the Man of Steel, last night actually, and it was an experience that was cool. And so we thought, for our first little movie review thing that we would talk about, well, that we wanted to kind of do movie reviews where we talk about movies that we've seen, whether it be in the movie theater or Netflix or something.
Netflix, TV, whatever.
Yeah, I mean we're college kids. We can't afford the movies every day of the week, so you're gonna have to deal with it, man. No, we really like movies and we really like judging things, so it's kind of perfect for us.
we live to judge.
We live to judge. No, not really. But anyway, so we were going to talk about the Man of Steel and kind of what we thought about it. Our pros. What was our first pro?
Okay.
We have a list.
We made
It's
a list because
official.
it's official, and we're professionals too, like that. Okay, pros. First, the guy who played Clark.
Whole baby.
What's his name?
Henry Cavill, I think.
I don't know. I should have looked that up before.
But no joke. The body on
Henry
that
Cavill.
boy.
Yeah, and I think out of most of the time, it always seems like the guy who plays Superman is always attractive. He's never really ugly.
No, and I think that's because he's supposed to be like the perfect man, almost like
Yeah,
pretty
basically.
much. Like
But
the
this guy
embodiment
was
of the
just,
perfect man.
I think he just was the best. He was very attractive, he had a good body.
So good.
All you men out
Give us some
there, if you
sugar.
want to find a real woman, you need to look like him.
Yeah, he was really good. Not only like is he ultra good looking, but he was like really good for the part. I thought he did really well like acting it as Superman, and more of a dynamic Superman rather than like a Boy Scouty, goody two shoes Superman. And you kind of saw like he wasn't like all happy-go-lucky Superman. He was like, he was encountering some things in his life. So naturally, he was a little bit bummed, a little bit serious. He wasn't all happy. His life wasn't going good, blah, blah, blah. So, I think he embodied that really well. And he made a really good Superman.
Yeah.
Probably the best I've seen. I don't know, maybe Christopher Reeve, the second one, the younger. But I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen those movies. But he's not as pretty as this guy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But it was good because he showed emotion.
Yeah, that was one thing. Like he wasn't all like.
It wasn't cheesy when he did the
wasn't cheesy.
Superman thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like. It was very well done.
Yes, I agree.
Basically.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Okay, pro number 2.
You saw more of Krypton in a background story.
Yeah. There before, I don't even remember like if they've ever shown like that much of Krypton and like what actually happened before in like other movies and things. Usually it's like they show like the dad putting him in a capsule and sending him to Earth. We have to save the planet, planet destroyed, all that stuff. But this was a lot in depth and I really liked it. And adding like the more like character of his dad like being more a part of the story was really good, and I really enjoyed it. It was like something fresh and different that you haven't really seen that much before. And I like seeing his little bug dragon looking creature that he rode. It made me happy. I just like seeing the world of Krypton. It makes it so much better to me.
It does. To me, it's good that they explained it, and it like tells you where he came from, rather than you just seeing him landing on Earth, his parents fighting him growing up,
because
and
that was
blah,
a huge
blah,
part
blah.
of the story before. Like there was so much of the story, like the Kents raising him and stuff like that, which I get it. But the fact that I think it's the fact that they added this and made it more, it was fresh. I liked it.
Yeah, it made it. It was because we already know the story. We already know that the Kents
came to Earth.
He came to Earth. The Kents raised him. He struggled with his superpowers growing up, and blah 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 blah. But this, you've got a whole other like story.
That you haven't really seen before.
Yeah.
In that extent, anyway.
Yeah.
And I love Russell Crowe as his dad. He was so good.
I thought he was
So
really
good as his dad.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed him. I love Russell Crowe anyway, but like he was really good at being his dad.
Yeah, I don't think he was bad. At first, I was kind of like Russell Crowe.
Yeah, I mean the previews and stuff.
Because he's usually, Russell Crowe's just good as like action.
He's very serious. Like he's good at really being serious and stuff too. And kind of like into it.
Yeah,
And
but
whatever.
I think,
But it was really good.
yeah, he did good as like his dad.
Yeah. I liked how they showed, especially how. By the way, we're giving away spoilers.
Yeah, so
Not really that much spoilers, but maybe a little bit. So if you didn't like see it, like
you should probably stop this and just go and watch it first. Or if you just honestly don't care, you can watch it. Whatever, do what you want.
If you can deal with spoilers.
But we will have spoilers. We need to tell you.
We just need to discuss.
Okay, so if you don't want to find out any spoilers, don't watch.
Yeah. So anyway, with Krypton, I like the whole how they showed, because you never really saw it before again with going how the whole Krypton thing, how their society kind of deteriorated to the point to where they were growing babies kind of with predetermined DNA, and like this baby will be like a soldier, this one will be the doctor, this one will be something else, you know. And it kind of reminded me of Brave New World, like the book, where it's all about like a future society where they do things kind of like that. You have like baby factories and stuff, and it kind of reminded me of that, and like how was so much, because they were so advanced like in technology and stuff, but like how so advanced, like even like us, we could be like in the future and stuff. There's always that with, you know, advancement comes moral decline sometimes, and like the decaying of just what it means to be human, because I think that whole thing with Krypton is they lost a big piece of that. So I liked how they made it really tie in and really explained it well. Everything was just explained really well. And I liked
which
it.
is on the list.
Oh, is that the next one?
Well,
Good.
yeah, we did do.
Yeah, they explained like the whole story, like with the flashbacks and everything. They kind of were like, you saw something and they were like, don't know about that, but then they would explain it to you, and they explained it really well. Or like they would give it like a piece of information that you would need later, you know, in the movie, and be like, oh, that's why that happened, you know, whatever. They did a really good job of kind of tying everything in together, like storyline. I think it was solid for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, they gave me a thumbs up for the story. There wasn't really any big plot holes that bothered me. No, everything was pretty much explained.
Yeah.
And it was
Which
good.
is like, it was done well, and it's like, for the most part, like most other movies today too, they're like the action, like superhero ones, they have these things, but you don't really know like what happened there, but they explained it.
Yeah.
And they explained it well, and they like told you the whole backstory, and it wasn't just like a little thing. And all your questions were answered, because that would happen like several times, because we'll talk during the movie, and we would ask, were those people? Yeah, were those people? And
we're like, I don't like this.
Or we're like, that's so stupid.
Actually, the most repeated phrase was, he's so pretty.
Well,
pretty much every frame, they're like,
yeah,
he's so pretty.
It was. And we
And
smiled
we're like,
a lot.
and we smile, because he smiles, and they're like,
Ooh.
He smiles so, oh my lord, he's looking right at me. You know, it was crazy.
Whoa! But we would be like, wait, what in the world? I don't know about that, and then it would explain it like in the next scene or whatever, which would be
then
like,
we would be all
okay,
happy about it.
well, that answers my
I feel
question.
very informed now.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is good, and it's also kind of like, even where they did that, and you think that because you would already know the basic story of Superman, but then they have all these things, it's kind of like, wait, what? And then they still have that in there.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that, they changed a lot of like the timeline around.
Yeah.
Some things were changed.
Yeah.
Like, spoiler alert, Clark is not Clark Kent, mild mannered reporter until the end. And, yeah. It's like they changed it. They changed a few things. We'll talk about it later though, because that's on my other list. Continue with the pros.
More natural reactions.
Yeah, I thought everything was very realistic. Even like, like how he dealt with his powers, because you never really heard about Superman like when he was a kid. how tough it would be to be able to have like super hearing and X-ray and whatever. You have all these sensory things. It's something you don't really think about. I have it personally. And I was glad that they opened that up and made it like, okay, this would probably be what you would act like if you really had these powers and they were really kind of just coming upon you like this, whatever. So I thought that was really good for them to show that. And also, I've heard a lot of people give crap about it, but like Pa Kent, his whole thing, because in the other ones he was more, help everyone type thing. I can't really remember like word for word because it's been so long since I've seen the older Superman movies. But like his whole attitude was never like, hide your powers, blah blah blah. And then this one is more like, don't hide your powers. And I know a lot of people, I saw like a lot of people had said like in the previews where it says, should I let that bus full of kids die? And Pa Kent was like, well, maybe. And people were like, whoa, Pa Kent would never say something like that. And I think that past versions, yes, but this one, like I said, is way more realistic. And if you're a dad, you're thinking about your son's safety. You're not thinking about so much about other people. And I think this is more realistic. He's protective of his son. He's trying to, protect him from everything. So yes, it's quite a different Pa Kent, but I think it's more realistic, which is like half the tone of the movie, is like being realistic. Do you have anything to add? Oh, and like, whenever I was doing something bad, you're like, well, and then like, how the city would react to like a superhero.
Yeah.
Was more realistic.
It was. I think it definitely was. And that was like something else that you were reminded of too in the movie, where it was like Superman's an alien, which it was like you never really think about
like
it.
You know it, but you don't.
It was just like he was just a superhero. He's there. He looks like human.
It's perfectly normal,
Yeah, and then it's like you kind of realize, okay, he's an alien. He's not a human. Blah blah, and you're reminded of that.
Yeah.
Which is more realistic because everyone saw him in a different way. No one was just like, oh, he's here to save us. He's here to protect us. Blah blah blah. No. They didn't like him because they didn't know where he came from. There was this guy.
Well, I'm sure there were some people who liked him, some people who were scared, some people who were afraid, and then the military's reaction to that was, well, we don't trust you, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I still think some of the military scenes were the best whenever they first capture him and stuff. He's being all cooperative and stuff, but at the same time, he's really kind of authoritative. And, it's like, I think it's kind of cool to be able to be, like, nice and respectful, but yet lay down the law.
Yeah.
Or like say where you stand, like I stand here, And I think
good flashbacks.
Yeah, I thought the way they did the flashbacks was really well done.
Yeah, because it was like before we went and saw it, when I watched different trailers and you saw like a little bit of when he was a kid and then whenever he was actually a superhero, so I had good expectations. Like
it was a
like,
good mix.
It looks like maybe there'll be like a little bit of him like growing up and whatever, but no, it started off with him like being an adult, blah blah blah. But you saw like good flashbacks and it was like they weren't cheesy and they were more like of just these things like where he was like discovering these powers and his mom was helping him to like control them and different things, and they weren't like they were done very well where it wasn't like
they were relevant. It wasn't like a lot of fluff. A lot of them had like some sort of information that you would have to call upon later for something and be like, oh, that makes sense now, or something like that, And they didn't make it disruptive either, which I think sometimes is hard to do.
Yeah, with flashbacks. Because a lot of times if there's something with flashbacks, sometimes it's just thrown in there and it's random.
And they give you
no
enough
sense.
like you have a question.
Yeah.
And then they give you a flashback kind of. So you're like automatically thinking it's not just like you're going along, you're with them flashback. You know what I mean? They worked it in and they kind of eased you into the story. I think it was just a really, really good transition, I think.
Yeah.
Good use of flashbacks.
Good CGI.
I like the CGI. I heard some people say that it was stupid. I disagree. No, I liked it. recently I've watched a lot of Comic Book Girl 19's videos, and she's talked a lot and had some people on about using like more practical effects and stuff over CGI, and how like CGI is like crazy. Not like downing CGI or anything, but they were saying like a lot of things, you know, it's just practical effects are a lot better, and I agree. But this was some really good CGI. I thought it was. Maybe some of the hardcore fight scenes were like, they were like, you know, rubbery or something. But to me, it's excusable. Like it's one of those things. Like it's a pro and a con, I guess, depending on the scene. But I enjoyed it. I liked the CGI.
I didn't mind it. I usually,
You know, I liked it. Dang it. I heard people say they didn't, so I'm gonna say I did. I don't know what that was. I apologize. Well, I thought Sara was a good villain, but this for me is like a pro and a con, because I liked him as the guy who played him. I don't remember. His acting was pretty good. I remember Zod though from like the older Supermans, whenever there was like the three, and there was Zod and like the chick and the other dude, and he was very cold and unfeeling, kind of. He was just like, I am Zod, you will surrender to me. Like, but I like this more emotional Zod. And I think if I remember correctly, the old Zod was like just out for revenge against his dad for sending him to the Phantom Zone. And this one, he's legitimately, I guess I just like how they made him like, I could understand his madness, I guess. Because he legitimately thought he was doing the best thing that he could for Krypton. And that was something that he was ingrained in. Like he even said, like, in the end, you know, I was bred to be a warrior. I was bred to like have the best interest of Krypton in mind. And it's like he's a bad guy, but in his own mind, he's trying the best that he's thinking can. You know, gotta give him props for that. Even though he's going about it the completely wrong way, and he wasn't listening at all. But I think that he's not just evil. He like actually like tried to do some good, and I guess I kind of get that. And I like that he was much more emotional. Like he was all like, you could see his passion. Like he really wanted this, you know. And even at the end scenes when he's fighting Superman and whatever, he's like, you ruined this. You know, we could have had Krypton back. You know, our world, blah blah blah. But you could see, like, I don't know. I sensed his pain. I sensed it right here. No, but like I mean, I got it. I mean, I got that. Like this guy, he just wants to bring his people back, man. You know, he's not some bad guy.
it wasn't just like, he wasn't just, it was a relatable, like, evil villain guy.
Yeah.
Where a lot of the villains, they're just evil and bad. Usually you know why. There's a couple
They're
out
crazy.
there that they are just crazy and you never really know why they are evil.
The Joker.
But it was like, he had emotion, and so it was more relatable, I guess.
He had a purpose.
Yeah.
And not like a crazy purpose, like, I'm gonna turn New York City into lizards. Like, I don't know, some other villain from some other movie.
No.
No, but like, that's kind of a dumb evil villain plot, honestly. It's like, really, that's your plan? Turn the whole city into villains? That's certainly gonna help you not turn into a lizard.
Stupid.
Yeah, but this one is more of a relatable plan. He had like a, man, you know, he just wanted his world back, man. I'm sure he had that chick, and they were all, I don't know. I just,
yeah.
I guess I have love for Zod, man, and hate for Zod. Not hate, just love. And I'm like, Zod, you know what? You're deceived. You need to let Superman put you on the right path to salvation, basically. But, you know, that's enough. I guess I've exhausted this subject.
I like the fact there was a lot of action in the movie. Yeah.
I heard that people thought there was too much action. I disagree.
No.
I thought it was a nice blend.
Yeah. Because it was like, in the last part of the movie, there was a lot of action. Like, there was almost, basically every scene, it was like action. And to me, it was a little, whenever it first kind of happened, it was a little overkill, but then it worked. I think that it was done well, and it wasn't like a repeat of the same thing over and over.
It wasn't all action, which is good.
No.
What
Okay, cons.
are cons? Dun, dun, dun.
First one, Pa Kent. Bull.
His death scene was stupid as no.
It was just wrong.
It was dumb. It was
It
dumb.
was wrong.
Dumb.
It was wrong.
And the other one, he died of a heart attack, which is much better because of the whole thing that Superman couldn't stop it with his powers, even if whatever happened, because he still died. That was great. I loved it. This one, he gets killed by a tornado when he's going after a dog, and like he basically watches his dad die, and Pa Kent's like, no, don't save me, and that was dumb. I just didn't like it at all. It was dumb. I just don't like it. I liked how they had him die, and the old one's a lot better. It was more with the character, I guess, but at the same time, this one, Pa Kent was so protective of Superman and stuff that it would make sense of why he wouldn't want him to save him. But it was still really dumb.
I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. It was a major con.
When there was like that part and other parts where you saw like him fighting his dad, which was understandable because his dad wanted to protect him.
They would want to clash.
But it was never like, I don't know.
Authentic?
Well, yeah, I mean, and I don't know, you saw his dad be all like, don't use your powers, blah, blah, blah. And like I read a review where someone said like, oh, his dad was fine with Superman not saving a bus full of kids, but no, let me die in a tornado.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that makes perfect sense. No.
Yeah, it was just really dumb all the way around.
I just didn't like that. I think they could have done better with the character than what they did do.
Yes.
But I mean, overall, I think they just, it was just, I don't know.
They missed it, man.
They did.
They missed it.
They did. Okay, next one. Lois Lane.
I thought Amy Adams' Lois Lane was dumb. Now that she was that bad of a character. But she wasn't very Lois Lane to me. I always pictured Lois Lane as snarky and, you know, she looks too nice. And, but I think she's too nice to be Lois Lane, like nice looking. I just don't think she has the look. That was a big thing for me. And she's not snarky enough. She's just not very Lois Lane to me in my head of how I picture Lois Lane.
That's true.
Just didn't like her. And the fact that she didn't even have black hair, she had red hair. Try and make your character stick like that. Be the same. Please. I mean, it's kind of like Mary Jane with the red and whatever. It's kind of iconic. You don't need to change it.
Yeah, I think if they would have dyed her hair black, it could have been a little bit better. I don't think she did the worst job.
No,
but
she didn't do bad. It just wasn't Lois. It didn't scream Lois Lane like Henry Cavill or whatever. He screamed Superman the whole time he was doing it. It was great. She didn't scream Lois Lane.
Which is kind of, it's like a letdown because it's like he's so perfect for that role, and then there's her, and it's like, they could have picked someone else. They could have
picked someone else. Yeah.
Whatever. And also the part where in the whole time where you see her and she knows who he is.
Yeah, that was dumb. Because
Wrong.
that's pretty much like half of the plot of every Superman thing ever. Lois Lane doesn't know who Superman is, thinks he's Clark, blah, blah, blah. And she knows. She knows. It just ruined it for me. The whole Lois Lane Clark and even the whole Lois Lane Superman relationship was a little weird to me. I mean, I knew it happened and whatever, and we saw in a review site, they made the comment like it seemed like the people who made it, like they had a checklist to go by, and it was like, check off Lois Lane romance, check off kiss, you know, whatever. And I was like, that's kind of true. It didn't feel natural. You weren't like all invested in their relationship or anything like that. It was just kind of happened. And I find it weird that within like a week or however many days has supposed to have went by, they were all smooching and in love. I find that a little fast. No, but it's just like, to me it was a little unnatural, but not so much to where it was like, that's bullcrap. But it was like, I could slightly not be convinced by that. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like, it's typical that, because they didn't kiss until the end of the movie, that would happen.
Yeah, but I mean, they seemed like so bonded before that, within like a day of meeting each other.
It's
They're
true. Like right whenever they met, and the way they met. it made sense with how she did like know who he was because she tracked him down and stuff like
that's
that.
Another thing. She tracked him down so easily.
Yeah.
In like a day.
Yeah.
Done.
Which was kind of crazy because of where the way that like he was is he would always have different names when he would have different jobs. So that way no one could really track him. Makes sense. But somehow she goes along and she's able to just track him.
But then the government can't.
Yeah. And then you see this girl who's like a reporter or whatever, but the government can't, who has like PIs and everything, and they can't track him.
They have eyes in the sky, so to speak.
Planes,
trains,
automobiles. But it kind of, that part wasn't really the most realistic, I would say that, because it just doesn't seem, it's not possible in the real world.
I wasn't convinced. I just wasn't convinced.
No, I think that.
And with the character, especially romance, I need to be convinced.
It's true.
Love is a lie, so they have to convince me that it is the truth. Zod, my con about Zod was that he could have been better. It's not that he wasn't good. He just could have been amazing. You know what I mean? It could have been a wonderful performance by a wonderful actor. But it was an okay, good performance. It was like a 3-star performance, whereas it could have been a 4 or 5-star.
Yeah. It was like, he was a good villain.
But
he wasn't the best villain.
Yeah, he could have been worse. You could have feared him, and he didn't really fear him.
No, it was kind of like I think that it kind of makes sense because it's like you did see his reasoning of why he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah, that could have been part of it.
But still, they could have had him be a little bit more
threatening,
scary and evil and something like that. Because it was kind of like, he is an alien, but you still like, I don't know. And
he seemed like he could have been a lot scarier than he was.
Yeah, and it was just, wasn't that convincing.
No.
But I mean,
I've seen better, scarier, more convincing villains.
Yeah.
So that's a con.
Yeah. Just, this was my last con, was no shocking moments for me. Hannah disagrees.
I disagree.
I don't. I don't.
Shocking moment for me was whenever he broke his neck. I didn't expect him to break his neck. I don't know why. I think it's because Superman doesn't kill. I've never really seen a Superman movie where he actually like killed someone. That I remember. If it was like minor, I think. And it's like a lot more. It was a kind of violent. Like it's just like, you know, it's not your normal PG-13 death. Man, I just can't, my eyes get taken. No, but you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, it was kind of a violent death, and for him that to happen, it was kind of like, you know, I was like, oh man.
Well, when it happened, it was like he had no choice with what was happening.
Yeah. And you could see him like he actually like mourned the fact that he did it. He was actually like hurting, which is more of the Boy Scout Superman who loves everyone.
Yeah. But to me, it's like, other than that little part, which was like, it was a shame that he did that and whatever, but like, to me, there wasn't any other really shocking moments in the movie.
There was a lot.
I think there may be something.
There needed to be a climax, basically.
Yeah. And
I think I read that kind of on another person's blog where they said that they felt like there wasn't a real climax.
No, there wasn't.
They were like, oh man, and then you're like kind of fall away from that.
Yeah.
And I would, if it was a climax, it was like a small one at the death.
Yeah, basically. I like, cause like you kind of saw the fight coming. You saw.
Oh, you saw the fight.
Everything happen. It wasn't like.
The whole fight scene actually, I think, would be the climax.
I guess.
Cause it was so like, he took off his armor and everything, and he was like, bleh, and he was so emotional and like, you know, yo, ruin this for us, blah blah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much that.
So that's pretty much our review. You should go see it. It's pretty good. It has some good things and bad things. Most of the good things outweigh the bad. We generally enjoyed it. It was great. If you like comic book movies, go see it. If you don't like comic book movies, go see it. So basically, just go see it.
If you are interested, go see it.
Although go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say also, I don't know. I don't think I ever mentioned it. I may have. I don't know. But overall, I will say it is a good origins story.
Yeah.
Which I love that, because how many new origin stories have there been?
Yeah.
And it's always so
the same thing.
But this, it's good because there's a little bit of everything. You see his past, you see him
His
being
present,
Superman, you see everything, and it was really well tied together. It wasn't like other movies where there's a lot of story, a lot of them discovering who they are, whatever. But this, it's like, it was done really well, and I think it's a good origin story. And if you are, I don't know, interested, if you're like starting to get into Superman things or comic things or whatever, watch it. Okay? Just do it.
Yeah. Also, I would not see it in 3D though. It might be slightly cool, but I enjoyed it really well without the 3D.
Yeah,
So I don't know if I'd spend the extra bucks on the 3D. I personally did not, because it's way too expensive. No, but I
don't know. To me, the whole thing with 3D, it's just, I've seen movies in 3D and I was just not impressed. There's only been 1 or 2 movies I've seen in 3D that were
What were
good.
the 1 or 2?
I don't know. Monsters vs. Aliens in the beginning.
That's true. The the flying stuff.
Yeah, and then I don't remember any
We
other
said we
movie.
saw Monsters vs. Alien, and we loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
It's a good movie, man.
Anyway, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
We can talk about
Next
Monsters vs.
review.
Alien. It only came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Whatever, we can like start, we're new. But anyway, so if you like this video, like it,
Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe.
and subscribe.
We'll have links to our blog down below.
Yeah, we definitely will, because we mostly post on our blog, but we wanted to make an effort to make more videos, because we think videos are cool, and we think we're pretty funny. So, you need to experience all this and that together in a video form. So yeah, comment. You can like tell us what you thought of Superman. We will agree or disagree. We'll definitely write back and argue with you. No, I won't. But we would like to sincerely hear your comments, because I love it. And so does Sarah. So
We're nerds like that.
we're dorky. I mean, I was gonna wear my Superman shirt, but then I wore it last night and then I lost it. I don't know what I did with it.
She burned it.
I burned. After seeing this movie, I burned my Superman shirt.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and of course, I don't have a Superman shirt, so I wore the next best thing, you know.
Spider-Man. I got Yoshi. I'm just all out of left field. So, yes, we hope you enjoy this, basically. We're sorry for the rambling at the end, but, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye!